I'm back with another video. House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 2. Let's go. So, leaving off from the last episode, I should say, we had a horrible tragedy. Apparently, some book readers said it was more intense in the books, which is crazy. George R. R. Martin needs therapy. I'm just saying, he needs therapy. But either way, the Prince Jaehaerys is dead, head taken off. And in the beginning of this episode, it's just chaos, and there was some really haunting music in the background when everyone was going crazy. I mean, some guy lost his pot of flour. It was tragic. Aegon is losing his mind, and he's smashing Viserys's diagram of Valyria, which is probably symbolic. I'm sure it is, that Viserys is kind of, his impact is just gone now. Otto and Alicent come together. Alicent is feeling horrible because, she was having sex with Kristen while Jaehaerys was getting his head taken off. But Otto is, always practical, and he's already thinking of how they can use Jaehaerys' death for good, or for their own benefit, I should say. Yeah, they have this small council meeting, and Aegon is just chucking shit everywhere. But Otto, wants to make a spectacle of it, like the bastard he is. And he pretty much forces Alicent and Helaena to put the blame on Rhaenyra, even though they don't really know who did it. And Alicent, for some reason, she doesn't really, she fights against it, but not as much as she probably should. And then she forces Helaena, who just went through that tragedy, seeing her son die right in front of her, having to choose. Now she's forced to go on this sort of political funeral procession, which of course it goes badly. Rhaenyra and her council realize that they've been blamed, and then Rhaenyra confronts Daemon. And during the council, Daemon looks over at Rhaenys. He's like, I'd fucking do it. Rhaenys just immediately knows it's Daemon. I love that. And Daemon and Rhaenyra, mommy and daddy are fighting, basically. Although they're kind of not mommy and daddy, it's like uncle and cousin. The relationships in the show are all messed up. Your uncle is your father, and your brother is your cousin. I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous. Your father is your brother. Oh my gosh. Is that even possible? I don't know. But they're fighting, and Daemon doesn't take any responsibility, of course. It's like burning down a forest that has villages inside of it and saying, oh, it's not my fault the village is burned. Daemon kind of shows his true colors. He says that, Viserys was weak. He feared me. They kind of have a falling out. Daemon runs away, as usual, on his goofy-ass dragon. And Baela comes along. She's like, oh, what happened? And Rhaenyra doesn't say that much. She just kind of says, oh, he'll go on his own way. Sometimes I forget that Baela and Rhaena are Daemon's daughters, because, again, they don't include them that much in the story. And also Daemon tends to ignore them. But they're there. Again, I hope they become a bigger part of the story, because I don't want them to just kind of be passengers. Oh yeah, and the Greens are a garbage family. They just don't know how to love each other. It's like Aegon looks at Helaena, and he just stares at her, and they walk away. They can't show emotion. It's ridiculous. And yeah, they're just not very good at the whole love thing. No, that's not really their forte. Oh yeah, and then Alicent and Kristen feel guilty because obviously that distraction. If they weren't banging each other, they could have saved Jaehaerys. These damn names, I can't do it. Jaehaerys and Jaehaerys, and then the other Jaehaerys, and Aegon and the other Aegon, and Viserys and that other Viserys. It's ridiculous. Aemon and Aemond and Aegon and Daemon and Vaemond. I was struggling with those names in the last episode. Oh my gosh. Oh, and then because Kristen is feeling so guilty, he just takes it out on Eric, and he's just being a real. I want to say that word, the C word, but I will refrain because I don't want to be demonetized. I want to reduce the amount of curses in this. But, Kristen he's a bastard. It's like he's talking about how Eric's cape isn't clean while he's the dirtiest MF there. And then he sends him on a suicide mission. They're out here playing Assassin's Creed. unbelievable. Yeah, and then Jacaerys and Bela, they kind of have a nice little bonding moment, finally a little time with Bela. And they're both kind of trauma dumping on each other about their deadbeat fathers or absent fathers. So Harren isn't really a deadbeat father, it's just kind of, he's just kind of dead. Yeah, that's kind of hard to be a father when you're ash and bone. So they kind of bond over that. Although I do kind of wish they had a little bit more emotion and intimacy whenever they interacted. That would be nicer. I forgot, like, how long have they been, like, betrothed to each other at this point? It's been quite a few years, right? So, like, I feel like they should be more intimate with each other. Maybe that'll happen in later episodes or seasons when the actors are more, like, used to filming with each other. And Aemon is with his, what's it called? What's the other word for prostitute? Courtesan. The courtesan. The leader of them, and he's still sleeping with her. And he's like, oh, they hurt me when I was a boy. Because they bullied me because I was different. I don't know why that was funny to me, but it's a good little bit of characterization. I did not expect to see Aemon butt-ass naked, but I guess that's Game of Thrones. You have to have someone naked on screen, apparently. Oh yeah, and then an interesting storyline. So when I first saw these two, Alan and Adam, in the first episode, I was like, what's the point of this? But now it's like, okay. They have some sort of connection to Corlys. Like, he owes him something. Adam is, like, very frustrated. He wants Alan to be more aggressive in getting something from Corlys because he saved Corlys' life, so he can get something. I just wonder why Alan wouldn't want to cash in on that. Like, why is he so humble? Like, did something happen to him, maybe? I'm sure we'll probably get more on that. Adam seems like a character that might end up dying because of how, like, passionate he is. Passionate characters that want adventure tend to not do so well in stories like this. I kind of like him, though. We hope he doesn't die. Oh, yeah, and they talk about a nice carrot soup. It wouldn't be Game of Thrones without a extremely detailed description of food to make you wish that you were eating. Like, George R. R. Martin, like, he's an author, but he secretly just wants to be a chef, actually. Like, he could spend 10 pages just describing a souffle and how juicy the chicken is and how much grease is dripping down their beards. Yeah, and then, so Rhaenyra, like, frees Massaria. Oh, yeah, and they talk about Daemon leaving, and Massaria's like, oh, he does that, doesn't he? and I remembered, oh, yeah, she was Daemon's, like, love interest or whatever in the first season. So that's a kind of an uncomfortable love triangle. Imagine your two ex-girlfriends start hooking up with each other. And there's some characters that weren't involved that much, but now they keep on going back to them. So, typical Game of Thrones fashion, side characters might become main characters, which is always very cool. But that also means main characters might start to die, which is not cool. Oh gosh. Who would be most likely to die first? Probably not Jacaerys. Already one of Rhaenyra's children has died. They wouldn't kill him off as well. Maybe Kristen? No, he's too much of an asshole. They gotta keep that antagonist. They gotta keep you despising someone for as long as possible. Maybe Bela? I don't know. There's no way they kill Daemon. There's no way. He's too good of a character. There's no way. Good as in interesting, not as in moral. Banging your niece is not what I would consider moral. Yeah. Oh, and then this scene. This is definitely my favorite scene of the episode. Aegon kills like 100 rat catchers because he knows one of them is the killer, which is so unbelievably stupid. And then Otto comes in and he's fucking furious. Like, he has so many bars in the scene. He's like, what did you do? And Aegon turns around like, oh, like, I didn't do anything. Otto's like, the rat catchers! The rat catchers! Dude, every time he says that, I just burst out laughing. That's gotta be a meme. I'm sure it is. The rat catchers! It's so good. Oh, and then he has bars like, with your child's blood we bought your approval with your mother's tears. He says he's self-indulgent, foolish, feckless. He's spitting. Like, I thought he was gonna turn to Slim Shady. One more bar like that, his hair was just about to turn like blonde white. Aegon's like, at least we did something. You know, sending Eric on that, Eric, these damn names. Eric on that suicide mission. So then Otto just looks at him like, idiot! Trifling! He's having a whole ass soap opera breakdown in front of Aegon. And then he really cuts him deep. He's like, "Idiot!" And then he's like, "Idiot!" So then Aegon, being the genius that he is, makes Kristen, of all people, the Hand of the King. Idiot! That's actually crazy. The guy that was supposed to be protecting everyone and let your son be slaughtered in his sleep? Like,
the king is my grandson, and my grandson is a fool. He's worse than a fool.
Almighty! How in God's name can that human being be from this planet? How can he? Does he have no conscience? Does he have no heart? Do you have no soul? You son of a bitch!
Otto calls him insolent pup. Yo, he had the best insults of all time. Like, put that man in like underground rap battle. You know, like seriously, easily be top 10 battle rapper. Otto Hightower, insolent pup. Slim Hightower. Oh yes, and then Eric, thinking that he's an Assassin's Creed, infiltrates the Dragonstone. Turns out they have the same exact hairstyle, which is very convenient for the story. He walks right by into the castle, but then Massaria, when she's on her way out after Rhaenyra frees her, well, thankfully Rhaenyra is a good person, or at least, you know, relative to other people in the story. She did marry her uncle, so although she was groomed, but at the same time, she tries her best, which can't say that for most characters. So then because of that, Massaria doesn't want her to just die. She saw Eric when she got captured. Yeah, she saw Eric earlier, or Auric earlier, but then she's Eric going in, so she knows it's the other brother. Goodness gracious. These names. And I love it when scenes get extended like this, because if it was just like 2 or 3 minutes, it'd be like, But I love that they extend the scene for like 6, 7, 8 minutes before he even gets to Rhaenyra. It just builds this tension, like, is he really gonna kill her? Because like in Game of Thrones, anyone can die. And I just love when a show takes its time for an important scene. If it's so epic, like, let me experience it. It's the same, they did the same thing in the first episode when those two infiltrated the Red Keep to kill Jaehaerys. And I love that. Not child death, not that, the tension building. Shows and movies should really do that more often. Movies can't really afford to do that, which really sucks. Like, if a movie's good enough, I want it to be 3.5, 4 hours long. Like, I don't care. If you're not going to give me a movie in 2 whole years, I want it to be longer. Get that Blu-ray out. Give me that 3.5, 4 hour movie. I want that. But the TV show format, it allows you to really experience the full, like, intensity of a situation. And it just makes it feel like so much more of an adventure. And then he makes it into the bedchamber. Of course, dramatically, his brother's there. You know, they fight to the death. And, like, they couldn't even tell who it was. Oh, what that reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? Oh, it's like the Detroit Become Human scene where, like, he has to tell, like, which one is Connor, but he can't tell. He has to, like, figure it out. It reminded me of that. Or, like, the Rigby scene in in Regular Show when he had a doppelganger. Oh my gosh, Regular Show is the best thing ever. Oh, I need to rewatch that. I really do. Oh, did not think I would be thinking about Regular Show while talking about Game of Thrones, but here I am. Whoa! Remember that? I love how obnoxious those two are in that show. It's great. But they can't tell who's Auric and who's Eric, and who's Eric and who's Auric. They kill each other, and I really thought they were gonna do a thing where, like, the guy who killed him is actually Eric, the person who was trying to kill Rhaenyra, but then he still pretends to be Auric, the person who was helping Rhaenyra Dragonstone, and then he tried and kill her. That's what I thought they would do, but no, I think it actually was Auric was defending Rhaenyra from the beginning, who actually, you know, won the battle, but then he falls on his sword. That was tragic, almost like a true Japanese seppuku moment there, falling on your sword. Well, that's more like Roman falling on your sword. Seppuku, you like open yourself up with a sword. It's a whole thing. Seppuku is like those chefs on YouTube where they make like those like omari or whatever the hell the egg thing is. You cook your egg on like high heat, and you have to have like really great skills with like chopsticks, and then you cut it open and it leaks all over the food. That's basically seppuku, except with, you know, a human body. Yeah, and then That's got to be traumatizing for Rhaenyra. She's just either got to get out of Dragonstone or post up the dragons or something. Oh yeah, and then Otto and Alicent are planning for the future after Otto, gets told to go back home, gets the title of hand to the king taken away. And they're like, damn, maybe we should have taught this kid. Maybe we should have actually been parents. Yeah, that would have been a good idea. And Otto's about to go to Old Town, their home, but then she's like, no, go to Highgarden and get the Tyrells or whatever. And then Alicent's like, I've sinned. Otto, kind of selfishly, he's like, I don't wish to hear it. And I'm like, brother, you're her father. It's like, she needs to have some sort of like release of the guilt. But he just denies her. So then Alicent gets up, walks away. And she does the same thing with Aegon. She sees him crying over Jaehaerys' death. And she doesn't comfort him. It's just like the cycle continues. The Simpsons are a better family than them. Hell, the Griffins are better than them. Oh my gosh. The Cartmans are from South Park. They're a better family than that. They are a freaking mess. Oh yeah, and then to top it all off, more sloppy seconds with Kristen Cole and Alicent Hightower. Round 2, bang! She's gonna get pregnant at this rate, really. Like, she just is. Although she's probably just gonna use milk of the poppy or whatever. So what's gonna happen next in this? So Daemon is just gone. He's going to Harrenhal, I think. I think Rhaenyra's gonna try to get back to him, but I actually think he's gonna find other allies, and I think he's gonna fight against her. Maybe he will, but I think he'll gather allies. I mean, he's still king in the Narrow Sea, isn't he? Or he has that title. He probably has allies in the Narrow Sea with the Stepstones over in Essos. Maybe he goes over there and he tries to attack the Greens before the Blacks attack them. He's not fighting for them, he's fighting for himself. That would actually be really interesting. I do think he's going to try and take the crown. I don't think he'll be truly redeemed. I think he'll still try and get the crown and he'll die for it in the end. Because I just can't see a man who's done the ish that he's done all of a sudden, oh, you know what, I will support my queen. But my queen. He just becomes Jon Snow. I don't want it. Like, there's no way that's happening with Daemon. Like, he's gonna go out and fire. Rhaenyra, similar to Daenerys in the original series. Like, Daenerys in the original series, I'm pretty sure George R. Martin wanted her to be seen as a villain by Westeros and rejected as a queen, but not actually be a villain, and then that rejection from her the place where she was born, that drives her, and a tragedy that it's not like she just starts killing people. She feels like she's forced to be more aggressive, and then wildfire goes off and everyone blames her, something like that. Not that she just becomes some fascist out of nowhere after fighting for freedom for 7 seasons. They won't be like that. She'll still be heroic, but she'll be seen as a villain, and that'll really destroy her. I think a similar thing will happen with Rhaenyra. I hope. I don't think she'll just become some villain. But yeah, this episode was very much a needed sort of reaction, so you can feel the realness of the impact of what happened in the last episode with Jaehaerys' death, what that results in. It's not like there was necessarily a lot of original stuff going on where people just scheming necessarily. It's just a lot of the fallout from Jaehaerys' death. Like Aegon, the rat characters, which leads to Otto screaming at him and absolutely just shooting bars at him left and right, like freaking Eminem in his prime. And then that leads to Otto losing the hand, and then all of that craziness. Daemon and Rhaenyra's fallout is because of him sending people to kill Aemon, which results in Jaehaerys dying. It's a lot of the fallout from Jaehaerys' death, which is definitely necessary. A lot of shows don't do that enough. They just kind of move on. So I like that. Yep, that's my reaction and analysis to the second episode of Season 2 of House of the Dragon. Like and subscribe and turn on all notifications if you liked it, if you want to see more. And thank you for watching. God bless.